Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Guys Who Stare at Stats. I'm Cade Kennedy alongside Andrew Santangelo. The Western Conference playoffs finally here in the NBA. As always, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. You know the drill, folks. As always, we want to hear your opinions and what do you think, because this is, at least in my opinion, Andrew, the crazier of the two sides conference-wise, where I could almost see anyone winning the West. That's how the season has been. The Nuggets, the Grizzlies, obviously, the Suns with their trade, the Clippers, the Lakers, if you really want to throw them in there. I've seen a lot of people doing that. You know, LeBron can carry his way to a conference finals appearance at the minimum. There's a lot to get to here. So let's just get right into it. The first series we have the Nuggets taking on the Timberwolves in the 1-8 matchup. I think this would be the most chalk of the series of any of them. Denver a 7.5-point favorite in game one Sunday night, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, getting the late Sunday night game.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is probably the one you can just throw away. Let's get this one out of the way before we dive into the three very, 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 very good series coming up. But I'll tell you what, Anthony Edwards is fun to watch, though. I like him on Minnesota. They got a lot of good guys here that you hope maybe can turn that team into a true playoff team rather than this playing game each year. But obviously they had some drama there with the Rudy Gobert stuff. But the Nuggets should win this series in probably about 5 games. My guess, you might be able to get one of a big game from Anthony Edwards. And it'll be interesting to see with Karl Anthony Towns how they match up him and Rudy Gobert against the Joker, obviously. So a lot of interesting matchups in this series, I would say. But I don't think any of them highly favor the Timberwolves and going to be able to steal the series from Denver. I think maybe talk about kind of the Bucks. Maybe the Timberwolves come in, a lot of energy, getting that win from the playing game, and maybe you steal one of those first 2 games. But I can't see this one going past 5.
And that's where I'm at with this one. I think Minnesota, they might be able to split with Denver up there, but once it gets back to Minneapolis, it's not going to be fun for the Timberwolves. I think the Nuggets will have it figured out by then and roll to a 4-1 series win there. But that brings us to the first of the three really intriguing ones, I would say. The 2-7, the Lakers taking on the Grizzlies. Memphis, they're at home. They're a 3.5-point favorite in game one. But this has been kind of one of those. Everyone seems to have this as one of the trendy upset picks. We'll get to the other one here pretty quickly, if you want to call it an upset. I don't know if anything really is an upset in the West this year.
Exactly.
But so far, this is one of the trendier ones, I would say, with the Lakers over the Grizzlies. And, I mean, they have one of the most valid arguments. They have LeBron James. They have Anthony Davis. Can they get a third person to step up? Can D'Angelo Russell get to where he needs to be? Can Austin Reeves keep playing well? Somebody else is going to have to step up for the Lakers, I think, if they want to win this series, or if they can just lock down Ja Morant as well.
Yeah, I've been on the show before saying I love this Grizzlies teams. I love Ja Morant, the way he used to play before, or way he plays and stuff before all the off-the-court drama and everything. With that being said, though, I am one of those people. Give me the Los Angeles Lakers here in this series. It's hard to pick against LeBron James. He missed the playoffs last year. He's coming in hungry. Dylan Brooks is talking all this smack. I think that's just fuel for the fire here for the Lakers. In a 7-game series, good luck beating LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the court at all times. You mentioned Cade, who's going to be the third guy. But here's the thing. I don't think they really, especially in this series, they don't really need a third guy to step up. They just need Russell, Schroeder, all those guys to just kind of come together and be almost a joint third guy. Like, I don't think you need Russell to go out and drop 23 a game. You just need those guys to get their own, keep Dennis moving the ball, setting guys up, getting those assists. And here's the thing. People look at these numbers. I mean, I guess they haven't played enough games, but don't let this fool you. Austin Reeves is not the leading scorer on the Lakers. Like, it's the thing. But, like, he's a guy who can step up. He's going to get his shots. I mean, if LeBron James and Anthony Davis are on and say Russell is being that third guy so far in that game, guess who's going to be open? It's going to be an Austin Reeves who's able to knock down a three-pointer, and he'll be able to get past that. So I do like this matchup as well. It's going to be a great series. I mean, Jackson's a great defender. Him and Davis will battle. Morant and LeBron, obviously. But in the end, give me the Lakers in 6.
See, I think this is the only series in the West that goes 7. I think this is the one we get over here that goes the full 7. I think Memphis and LA battle it back and forth. I could honestly see this being one of the home team wins every single game going into that game 7. But at the end of the day, you get to a game 7 and you have LeBron James. You know what's going to happen. He's going to go off, and at the end of the day, I think he does, but the Grizzlies are able to find a way to get past him. I know this is the big upset pick, but I still like Memphis to win this series. I think they come together just enough. Who knows, maybe Dylan Brooks starts a huge brawl somewhere in this series. I could see that happening as well with how he plays. But I think it'll be fun, but I have Memphis winning this one.
See, and there's the thing. If he does do that, he's not doing it with LeBron or Davis.
Yeah.
So whoever he's going to get ejected with, it's going to be a bigger loss for the Grizzlies.
Yeah. It'll be fun to see how this series plays. Like I said, if the Lakers win, it wouldn't 100% shock me at all. But I think Memphis finds a way to overcome it, similar to how they've had to deal with it all season, basically. But that brings us to the next series, the Warriors and the Kings. And, well, if you want to look at it, let me just try and see if I can refresh it here, because there we go. There's our actual spread. It was trying to hide from me for a moment. But 1-point favorite are the Kings, and this is the Saturday night game, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, 5:30 Pacific, and there's a reason I mentioned 5:30 Pacific. People will be off work by then if you work on a Saturday. I expect this to be one of the most loud crowds we've heard in a long time for a playoff game at the Golden One Center, because this Kings team, they've been the story all year. It's been quite a while since they've made the playoffs, 16 years. They want to try to light the beam a few more times in the playoffs, but they have to run into the defending champions of Golden State. So a 3-6 that really doesn't feel like a 3-6 here, Andrew.
No, not at all. This feels like a 4-5 or like a 1-2 down the road, later in the playoffs, or even like the 2-3 kind of matchup there in the second round. But no, in all seriousness, I think this is the hardest series of them all to pick, in all honesty. I think these two teams match up extremely well. You got some very good players in the backcourt, in the front court, both sides. Sabonis, obviously, I think one of the more underrated players in the NBA. We'll see what he's able to do for the Kings. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox, one of the quickest guards, but you look at the other side, you're going to go against Curry, Klay Thompson as the guards. I think the big thing here is, where does Andrew Wiggins stand? I think last time I read, he is expected to get back on the court, at least, and try to give it a go. So we'll see. I think he could be the X factor here, in all honesty. If he's not able to go the full series, I think you could see the Kings kind of take advantage of that and win this kind of series in 6. But if Wiggins is on the floor, that could be that key third piece there that we saw Wiggins step up and be the guy last year in the playoffs and really help that team get to the championship and eventually win. He could be that guy here as well and steal the series against the Kings. So it's going to be an interesting series, a very fun series. I think it goes 6, if not 7, and I will say my prediction will be 7. But I think Fox and Curry really battle it out. I think you're going to get a couple 20-point games, and in the end, as much as I want the Kings to win, it's hard to pick against defending champs, and there's Splash Brothers over there in Klay and Curry. So in this series, I'll have to go with the Warriors with the upset, the slight upset here. But everything in me wants to pick the Kings. I'd much rather see the Kings win. But you talked about experience in the series against the Cavs and Knicks, and that being one of the factors for the Cavs. That's going to be one of my factors here. It's fun to have the Kings back in it. This team, we've been waiting for to get in it for a while. So hopefully it's just the start of things to come. But I got to go with the experience, one of the best shooters of all time, and Steph Curry, and the Golden State Warriors in 7.
This is going to be a fun series. That's the main point to take away from this. I think there are going to be a lot of back-and-forth shootouts between these two. Game 1, it's going to be fun just seeing that atmosphere in Sacramento. These are people who've been waiting to see it so long. I think Sacramento was able to ride the momentum at home early in the series, but once it gets flipped back over to the Bay, once it gets in Golden State's territory, I think they're able to turn it on and start to not necessarily roll over the Kings, but I think the Warriors are able to pull away and win the series in 6. Like you said, Andrew, as much as I want to see Sacramento win, I think everyone is rooting for them to win except Golden State fans, just for the feel-good story of them. I don't think they're going to be able to get it done. I have the Warriors, quote-unquote, upsetting the Kings in this series here as our camera's frozen. It somehow actually magically froze halfway in between us. I don't know why OBS is messing up like that this morning, but either way, it'll be fine. Just kind of roll with us here as the Clippers and the Suns, the final matchup to discuss here. And, I mean, you want to talk about star power. These two teams both have it. The Clippers, of course, with Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook. The Suns having Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, if you want to include them in that category. There's going to be a lot of fun here in this series. Phoenix 7-point favorites in Game 1 Sunday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Should be a great one, but of course one of the big status updates is going to be how healthy is Paul George for the Clippers.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be obviously a big loss if he can't go, and I think either way he won't be 100%. I think with as much star power in this series, I think you're going to be shocked kind of where I go with this. But I think the Suns are just way too much for the Clippers. In all honesty, I think DeAndre Ayton, like they got players all over and create bad, tough matchups for everywhere on the Clippers. And in the end, the Suns also obviously got Kevin Durant, who's fully a go now and kind of taking it over for the Suns team. I think Suns get both games in Phoenix. Maybe Clippers probably take one in L.A., but then I think the Suns close it back out in 5 back in Phoenix. I know it might be a surprise with the limited games, but I mean, I just think the Suns are just too much in this series. I mean, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. I don't see a way the Clippers could stop them. And obviously, they got Kawhi, who's usually a pretty good defender, but that's only one guy, and I don't like that matchup there. Zubac versus Ayton down low. I mean, I think that's DeAndre Ayton all over. And I think it's going to be a lot experience too, in the sense of a lot of the role players for the Clippers I don't think have as much there like the Suns. So give me Phoenix in 5.
And that's, you say it's surprising, but that's where I'm kind of going with this. If Paul George is healthy, I think this series can go to 6, maybe 7 if the Clippers get everything to fall their way and get a few breaks. But if he's not playing, especially early on in the series, like it says he'll be out for Game 1, I think Phoenix rolls at home because you have Kawhi Leonard. You have one of the best defensive players, if not the best defensive player in the NBA. He can't guard all 4 guys. Yeah. He can guard one. Who do you want him to try to neutralize? Okay, he takes out Kevin Durant. You've still got Chris Paul able to pass the ball to anyone. You've still got Devin Booker. You still have DeAndre Ayton down low. It's not going to be a fun time for the Clippers, I think. They'll be able to steal a game or two, maybe getting one at home, like you said. But I agree with you. I think the Suns win this one in 5 and set up what should be some excellent second-round matchups as well. But, folks, that will do it for this episode of The Guys Who Stared Stats. As always, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. We always love to hear what you think about what is going to be certainly a crazy Western Conference playoffs. I mean, it always feels that way, but this one might be a little bit crazier than usual. But until then, folks, have a good one and enjoy what should be a fun playoff season.